Hey, it's Tim. Today I'm making Kaiser rolls with just the ingredients that you see here. First, we have 260 grams of bread flour in a mixing bowl of a stand mixer, plus 4 grams of yeast and 6 grams of salt. Whisk that together and then set it aside. And in a jar that's got 158 grams of water, add 1 tablespoon or 14 grams of olive oil and only half an egg. So you're going to have to crack a whole egg. They don't come in halves. So then add a teaspoon of water and a pinch of salt to the remaining egg and set that aside for an egg wash. Add 5 grams of sugar to the jar and shake that vigorously. And with the mixer on low speed, add all of the liquid ingredients. You can add it slowly, but do add it all at once. And this is going to mix for about 2 minutes, but stop the mixer after about 30 to 45 seconds and give it a good stir so that you know that all of the flour is going to get mixed with all the liquid ingredients. So then it goes for another 90 seconds and it's going to make a loose dough, a shaggy dough as it's called. And then turn the mixer up to the second speed and go for 8 minutes until a nice cohesive strong dough has resulted. It's going to peel away from the sides, but it's still going to stick to the bottom because this is a fairly wet dough. But as you can see, it's giving me quite a fight coming off this dough hook. Now turn it out onto a lightly floured counter, form it into a ball. This should take about 30 seconds. Just a tiny bit of kneading by your hands and form it into a ball. It'll have a nice smooth top. And then that gets set aside to do its first rise, which is going to take about an hour to an hour and a half or so. But you can see, even though the dough is a little bit sticky, it comes together really easily. Don't have to add a whole lot of flour, and then it goes into the bowl to proof. That took about 30 seconds or so. And now we'll come back after it's more than doubled in size, and I probably should have put some vegetable oil on that plastic wrap that I used to cover it, but no worries. Turn it out onto a lightly floured surface, and we're going to pat it out and form it into a rectangle. I think my surface was a little too lightly floured there. We can fix that. And the instructions don't say to fold it over because of the way I picked it up. It got stretched out, and I only need this to be about 4 inches by 6 inches, and we're going to cut that into fourths. And I use the silicone pizza wheel that I have, inexpensive but great. And these 4 pieces are what are going to make the Kaiser rolls. They don't look like rolls, but they're going to. So rolling, stretching, sticking to the counter a little bit, so I'll use my bowl scraper to help. We're going to make this into a 14-inch long rope, essentially. And then that's going to get tied up into a knot to make a Kaiser roll. So form a U with the ends pointing away, and then tie one side over the other side, just like you're tying a knot in a piece of string. Easy peasy. If I can figure it out. There we go. And now those ends are going to go, the one that's under goes over, the one that's over goes under into the hole. This is the first time I've ever done this, so this one was, I was kind of worried about what the heck I was doing, but it turned out okay, and I get better with the next 4. The recipe in the book, Bread Illustrated, has enough dough to make 12 of these, which I didn't want to do because I can't eat 12 Kaiser rolls. I guess I could, but not, in any short amount of time. So I only made 4. I cut the recipe in thirds, which is what the description shows is what I've actually made here, not what's in the book. So again, just stretch it out, turn it into a U, tie it together. You can see this dough's pretty strong. I'm kind of manhandling it here a little bit, and it's not causing any trouble at all. Now that one looks a little better. So this uses bread flour, high protein bread flour. I use King Arthur flours because I've read that they're consistent and good, and my experience has borne that out. But what's important is that you use a high protein flour so that the dough gets strong like this, so that you can tie these into knots. They're kind of like pretzels. If you can imagine that you do a little bit different way of tying the knot and you'd end up with a pretzel shape. Once this last one is done, they're going to rise again, covered, and they'll probably take about half an hour to an hour to double in size, and depending on the heat in your kitchen and so on. It's the middle of June in Florida, so it didn't take, I think, maybe 45 minutes for these to rise. And when they rise, they're going to look a whole lot better, as you can see. So that's after they've risen the second time. And now we'll use that egg wash that we made earlier. And again, that's a half an egg, a teaspoon of salt, and a pinch of salt and a teaspoon of water. And now with a teaspoon of poppy seeds, I just like the way they look. You could skip that, or I think poppy seeds are traditional. You could do something else if you wanted to. They're going to bake at 350 for 30 to 35 minutes. And out they come, looking like Kaiser rolls. This is a really hearty dough. It's not hard, but it's not like a bagel, not chewy like that, but it is a nice, and the book says it, make a great deli sandwich, pile it high with pastrami or corned beef, make a great sandwich. You can see the nice texture, and you can't tell from the inside that it was tied into a knot. That's the cool thing about bread. Kaiser rolls. Hey, thanks for watching.